He would be a cuck and a sub. What you talking about?
What's up, world? Welcome back to Cancer Thoughts. Today, I'm just going to be reacting to a Alba and Preach video. It looks like they did a video on Just Pearly Things. It looks like things are about to get really spicy here, so let's get right into it.
Today, I am going to be reacting to Alba and Preach's hit piece on me.
When you have a house, there's a lot of chores. There's a lot of shit to do around the house. A lot. And she works all day bringing that paper, that stack. And then she goes home and she still got to do some work. It's gonna take a toll. And she doesn't feel like it's separated at work. Like she doesn't feel like the work is equally separated at home. It's gonna be a burden. It's definitely going to be a burden.
And see, like, this is the thing. A lot of these reaction channels will try to nitpick, and they'll be like, well, if she's working, the chores are going to be hard. Guys, marriage is supposed to be hard. And I've told this story like many times on my channel, so I'm just going to tell it again. There's a relative of mine, and this relative was married for 50 years. And this woman did not believe in divorce. Like, it was just not an option in her book. And her husband actually left the family for another woman. And she prayed to God for a solution because that was her belief. She did not believe in she did not believe in divorce. So her husband leaves, and the side chick died. He came home and she didn't throw it over his head. She asked where they went wrong in the marriage and how they could fix it. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of times people in our generation are so quick to throw in the towel. Like, people used to have their husbands go to war.
Is your idea of commitment staying married until death do us part to somebody who left you for another person? What? Fellas, if your wife leaves you for another woman and tries to get married with that person and they're together for a long time, and then the other man dies and she try to come back, are you a great husband for waiting? But you expect the woman to do that.
They would have called that man a whole ass cuck.
A simp.
He would be a cuck and a sub. What you talking about? Oh, man.
Listen, Just Lonely Things over here, okay, without her man, okay, is telling you to wait lonely by yourself years for a husband who not coming home. What?
Work all day, you have to go home, then you have to cook. Yeah, you have to cook. Then you have to clean. Then you have to put the kids to bed. Then you have to.
But do you hear how spoiled we are? Do you hear how spoiled this sounds? Like, people used to get divorced for real reasons, like the death of a child. You know, my husband's mistress. And now it's because you're frustrated over a messy house.
But after a couple of weeks, it's really fast for you to be drained. You figure to yourself, why not drain?
But that's a choice. You can allow it to drain you, or you cannot.
All right, here's the thing. I agree with Pearl on a certain aspect, but I think she's missing the point here. They're not. And full disclosure, I like both of these creators, so watching this video is a bit conflicting for me, but I love it because it's good content. But chores and shit over time does wear on a person, especially if they're the only one person doing them in the house, and especially if they're the only one who's expected to do them, even though they also have a concurrent job as well. Now, what I've been preacher saying is that, yeah, if you guys are having issues in your marriage, maybe chores just may add on to the issues, but it's just, listen, at the end of the day, I think people should try to stay in marriages because it's better for well, if they have kids, it's better for the children. But if they don't have kids, if you want to get divorced, get divorced. I don't really, it's not a big deal to me. But what Pearl I think is missing here is that there comes a certain point where enough is enough, and people can just call it quits. And listen, they have the right to do that.
Just keep it rolling. Just.
Said you're drained. That's a choice. You think being physically exhausted is a choice? You think somebody working 2 jobs, coming home late at night, goes right to bed, doesn't cook or do dishes, you think that's a fucking choice? Hey, everybody right now who's struggling and who's really feeling tired because you got multiple jobs, it's because you choose to be exhausted.
You know, I've lived with all different types of people. I swear, I always had different roommates in college. And it really is a choice at the end of the day.
Because
And I grew up with 9 siblings. 9. I'm telling you, shit can be worked out.
This is coming from a girl who grew up in a mansion and has daddy pay all her bills. She's trying to tell you guys where physical exhaustion comes from. One of the most fucking privileged people in America is telling you physical exhaustion is in your brain. You're imagining it.
And I'm not really attacking like what he's saying. It's more of the mindset behind it.
The relationship is.
I mean, and for a guy that's big on stats, okay, this is the stat man. Because again, number 2, right? So I feel like most opinions will come from lived real world experience. Second thing is studies. When you're not sure, you look at studies. I'm going to read this. This is from CBS News. All right. Does the sight of men doing traditional female chores turn women off? A new study suggests that the more time men spend on household tasks, the less sex they have. Our findings suggest the importance of socialized gender roles for sexual frequencies in heterosexual marriage. Lead author Sarbino Corich, junior researcher at the Center for Advanced Studies at the Juan March Institute in Madrid, said in a press release, couples in which men participate in more household work typically done by women report having sex less frequently. Similarly, couples in which men participate more in traditionally masculine tasks, such as yard work, paying bills, and auto maintenance, report higher sexual frequency. This
All right, I don't really see the point in this, but because doing chores isn't about being sexy for your spouse or whatever, so I kind of disagree with Carl on this. Listen, at the end of the day, chores got to be done, and one person shouldn't be doing all the chores in the house. Now the idea that people are leaving marriages because of just chores seems ridiculous to me, and I don't think we're getting the full picture there. But I would say if people are leaving a marriage, there are far more issues to it than just someone isn't doing chores. That's the next thing. But her bringing up that, keep men who are doing traditionally female chores or whatever are less attractive to women, there may be an aspect to that that might be true. But at the end of the day, doing chores or whatever is not about being sexy to your partner. It's come on, their chores, if they gotta get done, so fucking do them. Like,
study was published in the February edition of the American Sociological Review. Surveyed 4,500 heterosexual married couples from 1992 to 1994. The average age for the men was 46 and the women 44. Now, the study backs me up. I'm just,
Men can improve their sex lives by doing more household chores. Study. Yes, couples who share chores have more sex. Here we go. A study published in the Journal of Marriage and Family in August has found that among couples who share their chores more evenly, there is more sexual gratification. In fact, they say researchers, the only couples reporting having more sex than their forebears did are those who are both getting busy with the household duties. Why do chores change anything? Here we go.
all right, so basically what I've been preacher doing here is they're pulling up a study that supports them to highlight the fact that you can pretty much find a study to support you on the internet. If you look hard enough, you can find a study to support anything someone is saying, regardless of what side of the argument they're on. That's basically what this is.
The evidence shows that men do a greater share of household chores, share of household work. Women's perception of the relationship, fairness, and satisfaction are greater. Listen, anybody who's dated women, and this is why I say she's a child who has no real life experience. Anybody who's been in a relationship knows, bro, when you do something for your girl, the girl wants to fuck you way more. Simple. You go pick her up from a spot. You bring her food when she least expect it. You clean before she even get back. She wants to fuck even more. Why? Because you made life easier. It's the same thing for dudes. Like, yo, when my girl make me food, you best believe I'm looking, hey, you sexy motherfucker with that spatula in your hand.
He's not lying. Listen. If your shorty is out here cooking for you and randomly just cleaning the crib without you asking, listen. Bring that ass here, girl.
Let's replace that with some D, right? I remember one time my girl, I just came home, she'd already folded all my clothes that I never even asked her to do. She was staying over the weekend. She folded when I wasn't even looking. Yo, best believe I beat that shit up, gave her another reason to do some laundry. But Just Lonely Things over here wouldn't know that. Even though she's a nerd who has had
This nigga keeps calling her just lonely things. This shit is funny.
their studies back me up. You have selective hearing. You have selective reading. You look for studies that back up your claim, not looking for anything else. Nobody takes one singular study and thinks that's real. You have to do dozens of studies. Other researchers have to take your studies and back up that data and see if it changes based off location, if it's double blind, everything like that. Reading a single study doesn't make you smart. It doesn't mean you're right. It just means there's evidence that, hey, this theory might be true. But you need to test that theory. This is why I say this girl's a grifter and an idiot. If she doesn't know how to read studies, even though she cites them often, she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's a goober. Her pulling up studies like this in a disingenuous manner as if she's done her research, she hasn't. You know what she did? She went on Google, she went to imright.com, and that's it. We got a past, according to her words, a past prime 26-year-old who's not married, not dating, doesn't know how to dress, doesn't know how to groom herself, talking about she want to run wife school and teach people how to be eligible for marriage. The bitch don't know what the fuck she's talking about, and she don't know how to walk the walk. Because I ain't never seen no dude say this girl's marriageable or they'd want to.
All right, that's where okay. I disagree with Abba here. I don't think Prisha said anything, but her if you go on Just Curly Things or the Just Curly Things network or her channel, I think her wife school is not her trying to teach women how to be wives. I think her wife school channel is centered around women learning how to her herself learning from women who are actual wives how to be wives. So I think you might have to do a little bit more of your research on that, Abba. But again, I mean, I think I said this earlier. I think it's pretty easy for anyone to just go on the internet and find a study that supports whatever ideology or whatever fact they wanted to support.
Out of 24 hours, you work 18. It's a place where I'm supposed to rest. I don't feel like I'm rested. I feel like I'm always doing the job. Not only
But see, listen to him talk. Me before the family. Me first. I'm this, I'm that. But what about your kid? What about the children? And this is the problem with a lot of these reaction and like commentary channels is, you know, they look at it with a me perspective instead of the family first.
I'm coming back home and I still gotta work. Yeah, it's gonna be it's definitely gonna be a problem. And motherfuckers are gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna get me someone that's actually a partner.
Like a lot of times women will keep score, but we don't talk about what the men do. It's always about all we do for them, but a lot of times women don't even realize how much men do for us. And I'll give you guys an example. Okay. When I was younger, my dad, he worked a lot. And it was actually really hard for me when I was younger because he would go to India for like weeks at a time. I remember there was a time in like my childhood where I questioned like, you know, if my dad loved me. And I was like, but mom, he's gone or whatever. And she's like, you just got out of volleyball. What did he do? He pulled the car up for you. Oh, he just took your bags to the car. He pays for this. He pays for that. Like, and she just, oh my gosh, she humbled me so hard. I think this is common with women where we don't see a lot of times like the stuff that men do for us day to day because we don't notice it. And we just start counting and keeping score of all the stuff we do for them.
Here's the thing I hate about doing some of these videos. So both of these like creators are making some valid points here, but I think they're talking past one another in a sense. So Pearl essentially is saying, well, we don't see the things that men do, and she has a point there. But however, it doesn't also excuse partner who isn't helpful at home as well. Especially if both people are working, like the chores do have to be split up evenly or to some degree evenly. But however, what Abe and Preacher are also failing to realize is that yeah, sure, chores might be may turn into a huge issue in a relationship, but they also should not be the primary issue or why someone is getting divorced. If you're getting divorced over just chores, I think you got issues.
Instead of looking at what they do for us. But again, this goes back into the problem with the culture is it's me before the family.
If your dad was gone for half a year in India and came back the fuck home and the children was dirty and the house was dirty, he would have left that girl. But your mom was doing some shit.
Speaking facts. Speaking facts right there. Preacher speaking facts.
Chores. Your mom was taking care of y'all and humbling your ass. Chores. Your mom was feeding you, but if your dad, after going for half the year in India, coming back, none of y'all motherfuckers was fed, none of y'all was having clean clothes, and the house was not clean, he would have been like, well, I gotta do this shit too? While I'm in India, I gotta come back? And the chores would have killed that motherfucking marriage.
You imagine you come back from India?
But your mama was there doing the thing.
Like a big ass burden to someone when they come back home and they want to commit divorce. You got that right.
Yeah, I think the only way you could ever think that is if you haven't ever lived with anyone and you haven't lived with a significant other. That's the only way you could talk like that. Hell, roommates. Forget a significant other. Y'all ever live with roommates?
And see, this is the thing. Like, they go into personal attacks. So now they're trying to insinuate I've never lived with a guy. They're trying to insinuate I've never had roommates, which it's actually funny because I grew up with 9 siblings. Like, 9. Who's lived with more personalities than me?
No, we're playing. No, we're. We're. I'm done, y'all. We say roommate. She said siblings. We say roommate. I live with people. We talk about roommates and we talk about relationships. And your rebuttal is your sisters and brothers. And you imagine that's the same thing as living with somebody.
That killed me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yo,
Pearl is unintended comedy. Like, this girl is so stupid and confidently stupid that when she speaks, you just be like, no way that she said that.
Is it good to get divorced over chores? Is that good for a society? Is that a good message? And this is what they'll do is they'll say, oh, well, but this, but that, then don't get married. That's my argument. Why would you get married and take those vows?
Or how about this argument? If you're going to get married, do your fucking chores. How about that? If you're going to get married to somebody, do your labor. How about that?
Speaking facts on that one too. I can't disagree with Abba on that one. However, Pearl does make a good point as well because listen, I cannot reiterate this enough. If you are someone who is getting divorced over doing just sit down and have a conversation with your significant other and be like, listen, I go to work all day and I don't want to come home and also have to do all the work at home too. So I'm gonna need you to start pulling some of your weight too. And if then they don't like start pulling their weight and they just like let you just yap on or whatever and they just ignore you completely, then maybe you start like considering other courses of action. But to just unilaterally decide that you're getting divorced because somebody doesn't want to do chores to me just seems childish and it seems ridiculous. So both of these, like I said, both of these creators, I love both of them. So I'm splitting hairs here between these two guys. They both are making valid points.
How about live up to your responsibilities, which are to do your part in a relationship? How about that? You're celebrating your aunt who decided to stay with a man who left her for another woman. You think that's a great thing? How about we encourage men not to leave their wives for another woman? How about that? Like this is such a manosphere grift. This is such a man-slanted grift where it's just like, why would these women quit? Why wouldn't these men put in the effort? Why wouldn't these women clean up after them fucking selves in their marriages?
because we're kings.
You know what I mean? This is such a victim mentality. No, bitch, we're telling you to take accountability and do your fucking labor. Pick up your trash. Do your fucking dishes. Eat your food and then wash them. Wash the chicken before you eat it. But you get what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, right? You get me? Yeah.
If you care about me, why don't you just do your part? Like, she over there stressed because she got to do all this extra shit. And you sitting there on the couch.
Yeah, but he could be stressed because he has to take care of the yard.
She did it! There's no way! There's no way she said that shit, nigga.
She said that.
She said that?
She's 100%.
That's how you know this bitch has never done yard work. That's how you know. I've done my backyard before. That shit is not stressful.
Yo, Abba.
Ain't no motherfucking...
Yard work it can be pretty stressful. I don't know about that. Now, especially if you got a huge ass yard or some shit, yard work can be very stressful. We used to have a yard when we used to live in our old place, and well, part of that was also laziness because we used to let that shit grow out of control. But that shit was pretty backbreaking.
Yo, Abba, shit. Like, that's too much. Cause how'd you go back?
What was it? The barbecue?
I gotta mow the lawn.
For what? The 7th time this week?
No, no, it's once every 2 weeks, but after that I gotta pick some weed up. It's just too much.
So stupid.
So stressed. Oh, my girl. Yard work is a choice. You don't have to have so many trees. You could hire someone to do it. You don't have to have so many bushes.
And it's
I mean, you also could hire someone to do housekeeping. So, I mean, that's okay. But yard work, you could hire someone to do yard work, but let's be honest, most people can't afford to hire somebody to do your yard every time it needs to get done. Just saying.
cheap to hire.
It's a choice.
And it's cheap to hire someone.
Because you live in America. It's pretty cheap to hire someone.
One, it's cheap to hire someone for yard work. And 2, you don't have to do it that often. And 3, a lot of people don't have no fucking yards. To compare that to cooking, cleaning, and managing household chores for things that are limited to only some places is really stupid.
We always assume that the women are in the right, and I just want to read marriage vows just to remember, because again, I take you, so and so, to be my wife/husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish till death do us part.
Yeah. Love and cherish. Don't forget that part. You know where you ain't all fucked up? Love and cherish. That dude was not loving her no more, and he left. And she was like, take me back. Yeah. Don't forget that part.
That was your potato aunt.
That was you.
She broke them vows.
But you were like, no.
But here's the other word: love and cherish.
Love and cherish.
You cherish somebody who you don't put an effort in for. How can somebody say they cherish this business but they never show up to their shifts? How can you say?
Let's be honest. He was making an example there, but this is pretty funny. Nobody cherishes their business. Nobody gives especially if they're an employee. Nobody gives a fuck. People go to work and get paid and go home. Ain't nobody trying to say they cherish no goddamn business. Now that's besides the point, but I just wanted to make that very clear.
You cherish this business, but I find out you not doing any of the work when you're on the shift. Is that cherishing somebody? Marriage is not just vows. It's labor you put in every day. And our point is, if you don't do the labor, then you're not actually holding your wedding vows. Just being present doesn't mean you're actually present. You actually have to be engaged. I can say I'm here.
Yo, Abba. Dude.
Am I really here? Have a child. Let them try to talk to you and be on your phone your whole time. See if that child feels seen. Just because you're present doesn't mean you're really fucking there. And just because you took vows doesn't mean you actually upheld them. It ain't enough to sign a fucking piece of paper. Bitch, you gotta work every single day. And that's what we saying people not doing. I'm not saying the women's telling the truth or the men's not telling the truth. I'm saying there's plenty of situations where the relationship is very, very uneven. And if you cherish somebody, you would try to make it more even. You would try to put in that effort.
That mindset. What can they do for me? What about what you can do for them?
Chores.
Yeah. What can they do for me? What they fucking agreed to. You acting like they got into a marriage and said, bitch, go get a 7-figure salary. Oh, he's not doing his part. He left. No. Fucking take care of your shit. The basics. You a grown-ass person, can't clean or take care of yourself like a child. Have some self-respect.
If you're in a relationship, right, and the man earns more than the woman, all right, so the woman has chores to do, and the man has chores to do, all right, paying the bill, bringing the money, whatever, that's his chores, right, when he comes back home, whatever, mowing the lawn, or housework. chores. All right, he has to do chores as well. Even if he earns more, you have to come back and just make sure that some things are, this is not good. I'm gonna fix that shit, whatever this and that, whatever, whatnot. All right, car breaks, he has to make sure that he fixes it. Right, calling the garage if he's not gonna do it, or he's gonna do it himself because that's his chores. If he's there and even if he earns the money, but he doesn't do nothing, it's not gonna be viable. It's gonna last longer because it makes more money, but it's not. Same thing for the woman. The woman has chores to do. If she ends up not doing her chores, like she earns less, he earns more, so she does this and that and whatever in the third, and she decided at one point not to do them, then it's gonna break up the marriage. That's it. It's normal for XYZ reason. Okay? It's just normal things. It's normal, right?
All right, I'm gonna end this video here. One thing's funny, Abba. Your creaking floors make me laugh so hard. But final thoughts on this. I think both of these creators both were making some pretty valid points. I think they were talking past each other. Um, just one because I think Pearl is missing the point in that if you're a woman and you come home to constantly like a dirty house and your partner isn't, or even if you're a man, if you're someone who's in a relationship where your partner isn't pulling their own weight and you're living together and the chores are constantly just like there and not being done and you're constantly the one that has to do it and you're also employed at the same time, that may over time become very stressful. And also, on the other hand, what Pearl is saying is that doing chores should not be the defining factor in a divorce or a marriage, which is pretty fucking true. Like, if you're getting, I've said this many times already this video, but if you're getting divorced over chores, you got issues. Let's just be 100% honest here. You got issues. Like, just sit down and have a conversation and people do your fucking chores. Like, come on, Jesus, dude, stop being a lazy fuck. Do your fucking chores. And listen, we need to start seeing more relationships stay like strong because the way our country is headed right now, the dividedness is not good for us at all. If you liked what you heard today, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you didn't like what you heard, thanks for watching the whole video. Consider leaving a comment in the comment section and telling me exactly what you disagreed with. Either way, thanks for joining me on this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.